Let's begin our fifth day of FDP.
So, good morning to all. So, actually, in the last class, we have discussed how we can able to break any web application or web server. How we can able to grab or crack the password, and how we can able to capture the script with the help of burp suit, and all we discussed, right? So. So today, as I told you yesterday, we will start with this cloud hacking or cloud security. So as you know, some of the cloud information or cloud things we are using nowadays, have some vulnerability or have some threat. Okay, so here if you use Google Drive, there we have some our data, and we are using that Google Drive to store the information of our systems, and we are accessing the cloud data whenever we want, right? So you can able to access the cloud drive wherever you want. If you have internet connection, you can able to access. From that, you can able to store your data into that cloud, and through which you can able to access the data. But whenever you store the information inside any cloud, you need to be know that your data should get encrypted with some algorithm, and through which you can able to avoid stealing of your data or your information. Okay, so you can use this kind of clouds like Google or any other kind of clouds, trusted clouds. Inside that, you can able to share your store your information, and even if you use any other cloud without any unknown clouds there, consider that you are storing your information with a encrypted format. Okay, so that is the one you need to know before accessing your cloud account. Okay, so here we can see this. So here we can see cloud computing is the practice of using network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than a local server on a personal computer. So you have a hard disk with your system. With the help of the hard drives or hard disk, you can able to store the information. Whenever you want to access the data from the hard drive, you can load it from your local personal machine. But if you are not using any system, even though if you want to access the data, so you can store the information from cloud, and you can retrieve the data whenever you need or wherever you need. So you will be provided with some specific space in the cloud, and through which you can able to store some information, and with the help of that cloud, you can able to access the data wherever or whenever you need. Okay, with the help of internet. So that's why we need this cloud computing part. And characteristics of cloud computing: on-demand self-service. So if you want, you can able to build your own cloud network itself for free. So we can have a tool, own cloud. We can have a tool called own cloud, through which you can able to create your own cloud, availing the space of your system's hard drive. Okay, so that was mentioned like on-demand self-service and broad network access. So if you have a cloud account, or if you are having your own cloud, you can able to use the space of that cloud account in two different ways. One is that shared, and another one is distributed. So if you can create a cloud of yours, you can able to share the cloud space information to others. Okay, so that's why we mentioned the characteristics of the cloud computing as broad network access and distributed storage resource pooling. So this can be explained if you have a certain space in your cloud account, you can able to share the cloud space account to others or to any other client if you want. Okay, so you can take example of this GoDaddy or Wix, any other kind of cloud space providers. So if you want to post or insert the data which you created in your system, you can use one of their service to store the information in their cloud. So you can avail a space from their cloud and you can store the information, and you will be provided with some specific IP address, and you can convert that IP address into domain name or URL, and through the URL, if you share the same URL to others, they can able to access your cloud space information which you are availed with the help of GoDaddy or Wix. Okay, so like the same, they already distributed their own space to n number of peoples. Okay, so all of them can able to share cloud space of the service providers, and they can able to put their required files into that cloud, and they can avail URL or a domain name or IP address. If they share the IP address or the URL to others, they can able to access their data. But here we have some difficulty while working with this cloud account. So you are storing some information with your cloud, right? So if you want to protect your information from the cloud, which is available in your cloud, you need to be put some security methods to secure your data, which means whenever any system accessing your cloud account, you need to be verify whether the client system is accessing our cloud system with virus file or any other file. Some of the time, some client may put some file into your cloud account. So consider you are having a website in which you can you allow your or you construct the cloud in the way that the client can share their file, and if they want, they can download their file. Like the same, if you design your cloud, the client can upload whatever the file they want. Even without their knowledge, the file may contain virus file, or the file may contain any vulnerable script or vulnerable thing. Through that, if they could able to upload the file into your cloud, through which they can able to take control of your complete cloud account. Through which they can able to collect all the customers or all the accounts who are registered with your cloud account. So you need to be careful when you use your own cloud account by checking the files which the clients are uploading, or which other victim machines are uploading and downloading. Okay, so that's how you can improve your cloud security. And then virtualization technology also can be used. So if you take an example of AWS, Amazon Web Services, there also you can avail their cloud service, and you can have your own system installed in their cloud account. You can avail some minimum space in a free tier method, through which you can able to access your system with the help of AWS cloud account. Okay, so you can create your own cloud account with the help of AWS for free, and you can use their service for 1 year, I think, 1 year or 6 months. I don't know exact time, but you can able to use their service for 1 year or 6 months. Okay, so if you could avail the space from AWS, you can able to install their free tier machines with their cloud. Okay, so you can make a computer in their cloud, and you can make the computer to run always. Okay, so wherever you want, you can just retrieve the device from their AWS service, and you can able to retrieve the data whenever you want. Okay, so this service can be provided by the Amazon, and they can give you they can allow you with some minimum space, and through which you can able to access all the information. And then the types of cloud computing. So here we can see IaaS, that is infrastructure as service. So under this method can provide virtual machines and other abstracted hardware and operating system which may be controlled through a service API. Example, Amazon Web Services. So they have their own infrastructure within their concern or within their place. So through which you can able to access their service, and you can if you want, you can install a machine inside their cloud account. Like you can install any OS of free tier in their cloud machine, and you can use the OS services as per your wish. Okay, and this can be an example for infrastructure as service. And other examples are Cisco Metacode and Microsoft Azure and Google Compute Engine, and then joining. Okay, so other than that, we have another method of type of cloud computing, that is platform as service. This can offers development tools, configuration management, and deployment platforms on demand that can be used by subscribers to develop custom applications. So consider you are creating your own application and you are just distributing that application to other clients. If you are distributing that kind of application to others, you need to consider about that updation and configuration files and other things. So we are all using Android based mobile phones, right? So we are receiving updates per month, or whenever you get a new OS update, you can avail the new update from their cloud account only. Okay, so that can be work for Android based platform. Okay, so there they'll put the configuration files, but this hardware device is running based on that Android OS. So it will frequently look for the update or configuration file from the cloud, and if it could identify any new update from the cloud, it can download in your system, and you can make your hardware device run with the new configuration files. Okay, so this can be done with this PaaS, platform as service. So you may heard the term IoT, that is Internet of Things. So one of my friend who is working in one MNC told me that they are going to design a car based on IoT, and they are going to build the IoT based on Android updation, or we are receiving some updations regarding this Android base, right? In the same way, they are planning to create a IoT cloud account through which they'll give you a frequent update about that IoT system. So consider you are driving a vehicle in automated mode. Then it can read the device information, and it can send the feedback data to the cloud. And by analyzing the data from the cloud, it can able to give you more appropriate or more required updates. Okay, so that's the reason they are going to use this kind of service with hardware like cars and other things. Okay, and the third type of cloud computing is software as a service. Offers softwares to subscribers on demand over the internet. Example: Google Apps, Salesforce, Workday. This kind of applications can be used with a type of the software as a service. Maybe you can consider this also. So nowadays we are using Windows 10 in our system. So it can look for the update, and it can download. And if you are using any applications with your system, that application also can download updates. If you are installed with, if your system is installed with Adobe Photoshop or Corel Draw, when you connect your system with internet, it defaultly looks for the update or looks for any new configuration available within the required cloud. So it'll if it finds any new configuration or update available in the cloud account, it can able to use in your system. Like the same, our Windows Defender, for when you use your Windows system, Windows Defender can ask you to update the security patches. Okay, so every time the network security engineers can look for the different vulnerabilities which can cause more effect with your system, and they'll analyze the information, and they'll create a program file to block the new way of attacking method, and they'll update you with the antivirus files. Okay, so this all can be set as a rule when you have a cloud account. So these can be used to protect your information. But if you are not creating with security, when you work with the cloud, if you are not using any security measures, the hackers can collect all the information from your cloud without your knowledge. So that is what you need to look into it. So after that, cloud deployment models, private cloud you can have, and community cloud. So some of the persons are available in market to share their cloud space. So they may have their own cloud account of with some specific space. So if they are willing, they can share you the space. So and then hybrid cloud. So this can integrate with multiple cloud accounts, and it can give you the data whatever you want. And then public clouds, so like what we are using as a Google service and other things. Okay, so right now we are using Google services for as public cloud, but you need to understand one thing, that they even can capture your information, and they can sell the data of your cloud account without your permission or without your knowledge. Okay, so that is the information they can collect by providing a free service. Okay, so this can be cost, and the cloud account can have more security than any other. The Google Cloud can have more security than any other cloud accounts, because even the cloud does not know under which algorithm it is running, under which algorithm the cloud system is running. Even the cloud does not know that, because we already discussed some algorithms of this security or cryptography, right? Or in cryptography. So in the cryptography, we may use AES or RSA or NPA. This kind of algorithms we can use. So the cloud system will randomly change the algorithm done by the cloud itself, through which it can able to secure the information. That's how they define or design their cloud. So like the same, AWS also can have more security feature than Google. So nowadays the corporate companies or the people are started using AWS cloud service, because they have they can provide you more reliable things, and they can have more security. Okay, so because of that reason, you can able to use this kind of cloud informations. And then cloud computing benefits economic, so environmentally friendly and less maintenance and less capital expense and less power consumption. So these all can be the benefits of this cloud account. So environmentally friendly means you don't need to use any hardware, and you don't need to invest more money on accessing the data within this one. Okay, so if you have internet service in your system, you can able to avail this cloud. Okay, so this is environmentally friendly, and less maintenance. So you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about the maintenance of this cloud account, because the cloud service providers can take care of that, and they can maintain their cloud, and they can have their own server, and they can have their own algorithm to for the periodic security check and for the maintenance, and less capital expense. So you don't need to invest much to avail the cloud space. If you have minimum amount, you can just avail a space. So by accessing the cloud space from GoDaddy or Wix, you can see you can access their cloud space 99 per month or 199 per month. Okay, so you don't need to invest much to avail their service, and less power consumption. So you don't need to consider about this power consumption and all. If you have a system and if you are willing to use that system dedicatedly for cloud, then you can make the server run your system, and you can derive your own cloud, and you can make sure the system is always on. Okay, and then operational. So deploy applications quickly and scale as needed, and backup and disaster recovery. So when you have a cloud account, it is easy to recover your all the data. So while installing or while trying to use a new Android mobile phone, so you need to be include your Google account, through which it can able to retrieve your old phone's information. Okay, so this is the feature we have with this cloud computing. So that's why we can do this one, backup and disaster recovery. So if you are enable the option, the WhatsApp messages to synchronize with your cloud account, you can able to retrieve whenever you want from the cloud of your WhatsApp messages and videos or chats and other things. And then staffing, less IT staffing. So manpower is very less, and well usage of resources, less personal training, and simultaneous sharing of resources. And then the most important part of this cloud computing, security. So less investment in security, better disaster recovery, and effective patch management and implementation of security updates. So this is the only thing you have to consider when you have your own cloud. Okay, so you have to identify what are all the possible way which can attackers can use to attack a cloud. So by analyzing that methods, you can able to set a rule within your cloud, and you can make that as a patch security patch information, and you can able to share this security patch information to your cloud when you use software as service. And in such a way you can able to protect the information of your cloud, and then which is more efficient, effective, and swift response to security breaches. So it can periodically or by default it can able to monitor whether the device which you are using in the cloud is having any vulnerability or not. So this can be continuously checked by the cloud account, and if it finds any uh, vulnerable information within the system, it can able to give you the notification through which you can able to identify. You can see the real-time example of this one. So when we create a payload with the help of MSF console, we try to share the payload to our Windows machine. Like by considering the Windows machine as my victim, I shared the payload to my victim machine. And when it finds the payload file in that machine, the Windows, even the Windows can protect the system from accessing with the payload. Okay, so like the same, if you have any cloud accounts, it can able to notify you whenever it receives any virus file or vulnerable files within that. Okay, so when you cannot able to download the payload file in this one, Google Chrome. By using Firefox only, we downloaded the payload file with our machine, Windows victim machine. So Google Chrome itself can have some cloud security patches itself. So if it finds any vulnerability or any file causing trouble to your system, it can block that file or software which you are uh, trying to use with the help of Google Chrome. So for this, it needs to be updated. Okay, so always you can update your system to the recent things, and you can avail or you can use the service without any trouble. Okay, so for that only we are saying you need to be updated, or you need to update your Windows or Android based mobiles which we are using, because if you are using an unupdated device, then that may be a chance of attack, because the security patches will not be cannot be availed as updated one, through which the hackers can try to exploit the information of your system. Okay, so these are all the things we need to consider. And then cloud computing threats. So VM level attacks, virtual machines. So they can have their machine in cloud, in the same cloud, and they can able to use their virtual machines to stop the services of your cloud account. That can be called as DOS attack, denial of service. So the virtual machine can be constructed, the attacker's virtual machine can be constructed like to give n number of requests for your cloud account. So if it finds more requests, the cloud account does not may not have the capacity to solve all the requests which the virtual machines are giving. Okay, if it finds to solve the request of virtual machines, then it will get it may get disturbed, or it may get blocked. Okay, so no other can use the cloud service of that. Okay, so this can be the attack which you can plan with a virtual machine. And then hardware failure. So if the system, you are if you are using your system as your server, then if the system fails to load, or if the system fails sometimes, you cannot able to use the cloud services. And if they could identify the or interact with the hardware device, they can able to identify the information. And malicious insiders. So this is what I already told you, that if you are allowing users to enter any files without security check, there may be a chance of vulnerability attack or virus attack of your cloud account. Shared technology issues. Some of the system may use or access without knowing the rule of the cloud account. Okay, through which the hacker can able to grab the information from your cloud. Abuse of cloud services. So this is another thing, that is if you don't know how to use the cloud, or if you don't know the available security options and other things of your cloud account, then it will be a problem. Then network management failure. So you need to be know how to manage the network to avoid the suspension of your cloud account. And cloud computing attacks. So these can be the possible cloud computing attacks, that is DOS, and then session hijacking with XSS. So this is we already discussed, that is cross-site scripting. Right. So DOS attack, I already explained you. Denial of service. So some of the virtual machine or some of the attacker may try to identify what are all the services running on your cloud account with the vulnerability analysis tools, and through which, if they could identify any vulnerability with your cloud account, they can able to try to stop the services of your cloud account with this DOS attack. And then session hijacking with MADM. So MADM can be done with the help of Wireshark. We already discussed, and we already see this one. So here, if you use the tool Wireshark, you can it can able to break into the network in between, which means consider your system as a client machine and you are requesting something from the server, or you are requesting some information from the cloud account. So what this Wireshark tool can do is that it can able to capture or take a copy of the information which the client system is transferring to the cloud account or to the server account. So this attack can happen between client and the cloud or the server. So we can understand we have three different things. One is client machine and another one is the cloud system. And this Wireshark tool can interrupt the connection of the cloud and the client machine, and it can take a copy. So that's why we are saying this as a man in the middle attack. Okay, so it is also one of the possible way when you have your cloud account. And then DNS poisoning, that is domain name server poisoning, and we can use the tool Etacap to do this kind of attacks and all. And social engineering. So you can use any kind of phishing attack method, or any other kind of attacking methods through which you can able to try with the cloud account to grab the information. So the cloud account can be provided with the username and password. So by using social engineering toolkit, you can able to get the copy of the cloud login page, and you can able to share it to their share it to the cloud owner mail ID, and if they enter the username and password, you can able to grab the username and password, and you can able to use their cloud account, and you can after that you can able to control their cloud information. So these are all the possible attacks we can find with the cloud computing. And cloud hacking countermeasures. So here, enforce data protection, backup, and retention mechanisms. So some ransom virus can cause the data loss. Okay, so if you could identify any of the ransom virus attack with your cloud account, you need to make your cloud account to recover the data. Okay, for that you need to have a recovery option within your cloud through which you can able to secure your information. Disclose applicable logs and data to customers. So you have to identify what are all the systems are using our client cloud right now. So you can able to show, if you want, you can able to make your cloud to show who are all connected with your cloud, or who are all using your cloud account. And then prevent unauthorized server access using security checkpoint. So you have to periodically check for the accessibility of the cloud clients. Okay, so you have to prevent unauthorized cloud accounts. So you may hear you can we can discuss the same thing with real-time example. So you may already heard about the browser Tor. Right. In Tor browser, if you are trying to load your Gmail account, it won't allow you to get into your Gmail account, which means your Gmail account will not allow you to enter into that cloud or to this Gmail server since because of using Tor browser. Because Tor browser can randomly assign IP address for your system. Okay, to protect your information or to hide your system's information, you can use Tor browser. While searching in internet, the server can all the servers can able to read your IP address, and through which they can able to transfer the data which you requested from the server. And if it could identify, or if it could read the IP address, what the Tor browser can do is that Tor browser can randomly change the IP address. Since because of that, the Gmail cloud if the Gmail cloud finds the IP address is getting changed randomly, it won't allow you to enter into its cloud. Okay, so you can check, or you need to build a system to check the IP address or the authorized systems. You cannot able to identify the authorized systems, but you can identify the authorized systems in by accessing their IP address and the files which they are using, or the information or the browser they are using to access the cloud. So in such a way you can able to identify the systems information which you can allow to use your cloud account. So these are all the basic methods you need to be considered. Okay, so after all these things, monitor the client's traffic for any malicious activities. So the client may give a continuous request to the cloud account for the accessibility. So it has to monitor whether the cloud system is giving the request without the cloud's permission, or the way the cloud system is getting jammed. Okay, so if the cloud system should monitor that, and if it finds any traffic to the thing, it has to block the client. And then implement a strong key generation and stronger management and destruction practices. So here you have to have a strong key for your cloud account. If you are the owner, and if you are trying to access this one, you can able to protect your cloud account with stronger password, and check for the data protection at both design and runtime. So you need to be check that, and enforce legal contracts in employee behavior policy. So how the clients to act in your cloud account, this you need to be considered. And prohibit user credentials sharing among users. So you don't allow users to share anything. Okay, so if you could able to share the information between between clients, they can able to share the information, and through which they can able to penetrate into other cloud accounts. Okay, so and then ensure that physical security is a 24/7 for about 365 affair, and leverage strong two-factor authentication techniques where possible. Okay, so these are all the way you can protect your cloud information. And cloud security tools, core cloud inspect, and cloud passage halo, and alert logic, and sec cloud IT, and semantic 03. So these are all the cloud security tools you can use to protect the information of your cloud system. And then now we can see some of the real-time examples available in internet. Okay, so you can convert your system to cloud with the help of this tool, Own Cloud. Okay, so you need to download the tool from internet, and if you are installing the tool inside your machine, then this can work with a free publicly available cloud, and it can able to build. It can able to allow you to use their services. Okay, so you can build your own cloud account with the help of this one cloud account. Okay, so you need to download, and you can download this for Linux or for Windows. Okay, so you can use any one of the system, or any one of the method. You can build your own code. Okay, so here what we are going to do is that we are going to install this one cloud with Linux PC. Okay, so you need to have a good internet connection, and static IP would be preferable in case if you want to provide services to outsiders. So you need to get a static IP if you want to if you want others to access your cloud space. and put up your Kali Linux and open a browser and download the OneCloud file from the official website. Download the zip file so that you can follow the next command along with me. So like here you can after downloading the software from cloud, you can follow the next steps like to install this one. Okay, we are okay. So here after downloading the file, we can see the file is available inside the folder downloads. Okay, so inside the folder downloads we can find this cloud account. So here we can see the own cloud 9.0.0.zip is available. Okay, so after that, if you could download the file with the extension dot is a zip, you need to extract the file with the help of the command unzip. Okay, so unzip and then the file name. If you give this command, it can able to extract the file of this own cloud account. Okay, so after the extraction, it can be available as a folder inside your Kali Linux machine. Okay, but when you are trying to build your own cloud account, it needs to be created or it needs to be configured to share with others. Okay, if you want to share your cloud account to others, then you need to build or you need to have your system's own server, and with the help of the local server or your own server, you can able to transfer the file to others. So if you are using your Kali Linux machine, you can have the shareable path, or you can share the path var www html to others with the help of the servers, local servers like Apache and other through other services. You can able to transfer the information to other machines. Okay, so to do so, you have to copy and paste this cloud file into that folder, that is var www html, because that is the folder which you can share to other machines. Even if you have your own cloud server, you can able to if you does not have any cloud server, you can able to share the path to others who are connected with your network. Okay, so that is the default path which we used to transfer the payload to victim machines, right? So we copy and paste the payload which we created with the help of social engineering or MSF console, and we had that payload file into that var www html folder, and after started the service of Apache, we can yeah, you can download the payload file from the victim machine. So to do so, you have to configure this file in the same path. Okay, so here you can just do this command ls, and then you can find this one cloud is available in a folder format, and what you can do is that you can move this one cloud file to the shareable path var www html. So this is the default shareable path which is available in your Kali Linux machine. So you can use this path to share to others. And if you are accessing this cloud account within the given network, then you need to have this one cloud file inside this path. So that's the reason here we move this file, and then you need to give the file permission, and you need to configure this one cloud files with the given commands. Okay, so you have to change the path of this own cloud account. So that's why we have given this command OC path is equal to var www html and one cloud, because we have the one cloud file in inside this path. Okay, so that's one thing. Another one is that HT user. So you have to allow the cloud to access the data. So to allow the data to allow the cloud to access the data, you have to write this command. And then HT group. If you have multiple systems connected with your cloud account, this one cloud can consider that as a group. So you have to enable that option also. So root user, by default, you can have the username as root, and then you have to modify the file directories. So to do that, here we have given this command chmod files and directories. So chmod is another command you can use to modify the file permissions. And chown, if you are using this command, you can able to change the ownership of the requested file. Okay, so chown is another command which you can use to change the ownership of the cloud files. Okay, so after that, you need to enter these commands in your terminal window, or else you can copy and paste all these commands into a notepad or Kali Linux machine, and you can able to run the notepad file with the help of VM editor or any other editor you could find inside Kali Linux machine. And if you run the same, you can able to configure your own cloud account, which is available inside the path var www html. So after that, you have to modify the own cloud file for the accessibility. So here we have we are giving another command like chmod 777 own cloud script. So chmod, as I told you before, it can be used to modify the permissions or modify the things which you want from that specific file. So here we have we give chmod 777. So in Linux we have some work for this number also. So we already built the Linux commands with numbers, and here we give 777. So 17 can be used to give the permission to your administrator account, and another 7 can be used to give other folders to access your own cloud file, and another 7 can be used if you want to allow this own cloud script to run in any user method. Like you may have administrator account, and you may have a guest account in the same system, right? So if you are using guest account, and if you are willing to access this cloud with the help of a guest account, you have to give the permission. So the permission can be granted to this to your system with the help of this command chmod 777 own cloud script. So after that, we are changing the folder to one cloud script. So inside that, you can able to see this .ht access is available. Okay, so install the following packages so that the one cloud will work without any problems. So you need to configure, you need to install all the required files of this one cloud. So you can find the required files to be installed for this one cloud inside this one cloud script file. So you need to migrate, or you need to switch your folder to this one cloud script. From the script, you can find the required softwares to be installed to access this one cloud account. And then you can use the required command to install all the required configuration tools or files. So to do that, you can give this command apt-get update. Okay, so you need to enter this command inside the terminal to configure the required tools of this one. Okay, so after this, you can use this one apt-get install php 5-curl php-gd-y. So this is another required file which you need to install, because you need to have a server-side scripting language to start the server to make your cloud work in with the help of that server. So you need to start that. To have the server inside your machine, we need to install this one, php 5-curl. Okay, and after this, restart your Apache server and MySQL. MySQL can be used as a database. With the help of the MySQL, you can able to store the information, and with the help of Apache, you can able to access that through a server. And after starting these two services, you can get into your browser, and there you can type 127.0.0.1, because we configured this one cloud file with local server connection. Okay, we didn't mention any public server information, or we didn't configure any public server information with this cloud account. Okay, so that's the reason here you have to give 127.0.0.1 slash one cloud script in slash index.php. Okay, because this cloud files are built with the help of PHP program, so you need to have the PHP file installed in your system. And to work with the server, you can avail the service of Apache, and to work or to configure the database, you can avail the service of MySQL. Okay, so after entering the command into this browser, there you can see the options available like a username, password, and the database username and database password and other things. Okay, so the default username for this account is root, and the password is also root, I think. So that is what the thing you can enter, and the default database username can be also root, and you can leave if it is not asking you to give the password for the database. Okay, it does not have a password field, and the database location can be default one. So here the database can be found in 127.0.0.1 or in localhost. Okay, because we installed this cloud account inside the folder inside your system. Okay, so it can take the space from your system, and it can use the space to store the information of this cloud. Okay, so that's where you are using this kind of commands and things. Okay, so after this, after giving the username and password, you can see the cloud account is getting loaded, and it can be give you the space which are allocated from your system. So you may have a hard drive with some specific space. You can configure the required space to this cloud account with the help of this file, with the help of this own cloud file. Okay, so you can use this kind of thing to store the information. So here you can see the cloud index pages available. So we are nowadays using the Google Drive to store the information. Like the same here, the own cloud system also can give you the services. So inside this, you can store the file if you want, and this can be accessed within the network. I mean, you can access this cloud account within your system. That is 127.0.0.1. You can able to access. If you want to make this cloud publicly available, you can configure the IP address with a given script, or with the help of the script which you can find inside this one cloud file. Okay, so here if you open this file, we from the folder var.www.html, you can find this folder available OneCloud, and inside the OneCloud folder you can find you need to find this configuration folder, and inside the configuration folder you can find this config.php. And if you open the folder file with the help of any editor, there you can find array 0 to localhost. So it is available as localhost, which means you can able to use this own cloud account within the system itself. You cannot able to make others access this one cloud account. If you want to others to access your cloud account, you can find their IP address, and you can ask them to give their IP address, and you can put the IP address in this place. Instead of using localhost, you can put the IP address, required IP address. Okay, if you do so, the IP address which you have mentioned can also access this one cloud file. But you can consider the cloud file is running in your system. Okay, they can able to access your system's space, and if they are uploading any file, the file can be stored inside your system's space only, because we configured all of this cloud file within the local machine, so it can take the space and other things, and it can give access to victims to use all these space. And then if you want to enable SSL connection for your own cloud account, you can enable the service which is to protect your cloud account. So SSL is known as a secure socket layer to prevent a network from eavesdropping, like MITM attacks. So man in the middle attack can be done with the help of, can be done if that web URL was not protected. So we can find the website is protected in two ways, protected or not in two ways. Okay, so if you are using any HTTP based protocol, then we can understand that website is not protected. Another thing is that if you enable SSL or if you configure the SSL certificate with your URL, then you can understand that web URL was protected. And if the web URL was protected, even if you try to access the packet information of the web URL using Wireshark, it can able to capture the packet, but that packets can be in the form of encrypted. Okay, you cannot able to access the raw package which are transferring with the help of HTTPS protocol. You can able to access the raw packets information if the victim or if the cloud account using HTTP based communication. Okay, if the cloud server is using HTTPS based communication, it is not possible to access the information of that SSL enabled website. Okay, so to secure your cloud accounts information, you can enable this SSL service for your cloud. So first, to enable this SSL service, you need to check your website can be opened through HTTPS or not by trying this one. Okay, so example, HTTPS localhost on cloud. If it is working with the HTTP, yes, you can stop a proceeding. If not, you need to enable the service. Okay, if by default the cloud was assigned with or configured with SSL, then you don't need to worry. If it is not, then you can use these command to enable SSL service for your cloud account. So go to the folder downloads and give this command to download the SSL service for your system, and then give the next command to make the SSL service run for your system. Okay, and then start the service, and now you can see the HTTPS file is running for your cloud account. Okay, so now this is the basic method which you can use to secure your cloud accounts information. Okay, so instead of availing a space from GoDaddy or any third-party software, any third-party service providers or cloud space providers, you can configure your own system to act as a cloud, and you can make all the security meshes which can be availed, and then you can assign your cloud account for other users also. So, and then an alternate for about two practicals. In case if you want to use any updated version of one cloud account, you can just do the same thing in this way. Okay, inside your cloud account. So we are using the same one cloud again. Okay, so but now this time what we are going to do is that we are going to install our Ubuntu system inside this cloud account. Okay, so as I told you before, you can able to avail the service, free service, which are provided by, which is provided by the AWS. Okay, now I can just show you an example of AWS. So here, AWS login. So I already have the account. Dot 13314. I think. Explore So under this username, I have already I have this AWS account. Yeah, 475 D5C and D password. NH7D8. So this is the basic console window of this AWS account. Okay, so here you can use this search bar to avail the option or to filter the option. Okay, so inside this AWS console itself, you can find other terminal and other options are available. So if you want to use any services of this one, here you can just check for this one. So I think someone has raised your hand. Okay, so here these are all the options you can find with this AWS. Okay, so inside Amazon Web Services, you can use EC2 service to create your own machine. Okay, so here I can just directly search within this window. There I can find the instances which are running in my cloud account. So I need to get into this one. Your AWS console. So here I can find this option available, that is launch a virtual machine with EC2. So here, if you could get inside this option, you can able to find what are all the OSs or what are all the machines are available inside this AWS account. So here you can see these are all the pre-configured OS files which are the AWS cloud is using. So here you can find Amazon Linux 2 AMI and Amazon Linux. So if you want to install this Linux OS within the given space, you can just select the OS and you need to check this free tier OS, which is to be run in your cloud account. Okay, so this can consume this much of space, 1 GB of memory, and this was allocated with the clock speed of 2.5 gigahertz, and this was allocated with one CPU core. So you can use all these options. You need all these options to configure this Linux machine in your cloud account. With the help of this Linux machine which is running in your cloud account, you can able to use this Linux machine to hack others, or you can save some of the informations from this one. So here you need to be install, or you need to be create a new key for this one. So here you can have any name in this place. So I'm just going to create Kali as my key pair name, and then you can use this launch instance. So if you are using this one, so you can see this machine is running in your system. Okay, so now here we can see the instance ID, and you can do the option whatever you want. So here you need to get the file, and after that you can install, and after that you can use the service of this one. Okay, so here we can see the instant status pending. Now we can see the thing which is running on your cloud account. Okay, so this is the private IP address which was provided for your Linux based machine which is running in your AWS cloud account. By using this, you can able to you can try to identify some of the vulnerability of this Linux machine which is running in AWS cloud. And with the help of this one, you can able to put some file into this cloud, and whenever anyone reaches this file, you can attack them with the help of the file which you already stored. And if you want to configure some security measures, that also can be possible with the help of this option, security. And networking can be configured. So there you can find the public IP address of your Linux machine, and you can find the private IP address also, and subnet address, and all other required things can be found with the given options. And this is the storage where we can store the information if you want. But here it is showing root device type EBS, and EBS optimization is disabled, and you don't need to worry about that. But if you know, you can configure all these things. Okay, and then status checks. So now this is running and monitoring. So with the help of this option, you can able to view what are all the things my Linux machine is utilizing. Okay, so this is the way you can use with this cloud, this AWS cloud. Okay, and if you want to delete any instance, you can go and find the tab actions, and from which you can able to delete this one. So you need to select this instant ID, and with an action you can find the delete option is available. Instant state, stop instant. So for stop instance, and so now if you reload, successfully stopped. Okay. So like this, you can avail free service of this AWS account. You can use this AWS account for the purpose, or you can use this AWS account for as your cloud account. Okay, where you can have this kind of information, and you can access whenever you need. Okay. Instant settings. You cannot able to find the option terminate. Okay, no problem. So now, if I see the instance option, okay, I didn't have this instance running in my system, and I could not able to run this instance once again. Okay, so you can just terminate this one, or if you want, you can just delete these services from this one. Like this, you can able to use this AWS cloud account to avail the informations of your system. And this cloud system can be built with three different options. One is that to store any information. For that, you need to install you need to configure the database option for your cloud account, and then you need to make some OS run in your cloud. And if you want to make the OS run in your cloud, you can just select another option. Like that, you can able to configure your cloud account. Okay, like the same here also, you can install Linux based machine and inside cloud. Okay, so it will download around 800 MB of zip file. Ubuntu is the OS which is going to get installed inside the cloud. Okay, so here in Windows 7, sorry, not in Windows 7, they are going to install this Ubuntu into their VirtualBox. Okay, now you can avail the IP address of this Ubuntu OS. And you can put all the required options. Okay, so they have installed this Ubuntu OS with a VirtualBox within the VirtualBox, and if you know the public IP address of this VirtualBox, you can able to put the public IP address into the configuration file, which you can find from one cloud script folder. Okay, so if you could find that, you can able to put the public IP address into that cloud, through which you can able to use the cloud account. Okay, so these are all the basic informations about this cloud computing, and you can find some other available tools from internet to make your system's own cloud, and or to make your own cloud. You can use the own cloud to, I mean, your own cloud to store or access informations of your cloud system. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's it for this session. You can leave for break, and we'll meet after break. Okay. Okay, all right, folks. As of now, we have been completed a lot of cyber securities and hacking models. But now in this session, I'm going to recollecting the concepts of cyber security and hacking concepts because so this next 1.5 hours, this session is completely recollecting the concepts of the basics about what is cyber security and what is hacking, and so that complete systems will be discussing for the next 1.5 hours. So let's getting started with the session cybersecurity. So I'm very sure. So this session is completely recollecting the concepts of cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity and what are the importance? And later we will talk about what is hacking and what are the importance of hacking concepts. Okay. So please just set the goal sets for the next 1.5 hours. It's completely recollecting the basic concepts of cybersecurity and hacking. So before we start the slides, moving to the next slides, I just want to start with the basic scenario concept of cybersecurity. Actually, people, today technology has been growing fast. Day by day, there is a lot of softwares and applications have been built by the software developers and software team in the market. And in that order, we are since as we are working in the digital era, now we are in a digital marketing. So everyone are using in this digital transformation. So people are using internet, and they will be transferring the transactions within a minute, and they will be forwarding the complete transaction details to the everywhere in the market. And a billion number of users are using in this internet such activities also in this market. Because without internet we don't do anything at right now. So because that situations are going at right now in India and as well as all over the world. So people are connecting with internet, so everywhere. So without internet we can't do anything because that situation has been occurred in this recent trends. So if your people are working in the internet and they are doing a lot of transactions, so we can't predict whether your transaction is completely secured or not. Okay, because as I said before, we are in digital India, so everyone using Android mobile phones and the internet and laptops, devices, and so on. But we can't able to give the complete assurance whenever you have to working or taking any kind of booking transaction or ordering the foods or anything, any online digital things or digital transformation. So we can't give the assurance whether your data is completely secure or whether your data has to be secured in the third party of the users. So so this is a completely hypothetical, right? So because what are the technology has been growing in the recent trends in the market. At the same time, we have a lot of securities also. So there is a lot of security risks in this software IT infrastructure. So the hackers are very smart, and they are doing a lot of malicious softwares, and they are trying to hack our systems. Okay, so this kind of things are always doing by these hackers in the other hand. Okay, so but how could we over that? How could we over that? And what are the things we have to avoid in this professional field of cybersecurity and as well as ethical hacking? That is the thing. Okay. Now moving to the next one, let me give one more example to you. See, as I said before, we are working on internet and we are using the internet services in this IT infrastructure. So everyone using in this hotel booking and tickets and ordering food, and as well as consistently we are using the generating the data in the cloud. Okay, and you know what? So we are using the big data concepts also. So there is a lot of huge data are storing in this server, but we can't able to predict whether your data has been stored properly or maybe your data may be stolen from the hackers also. So what are the steps and what are the thing we have to protect our devices, and what are the strategy we are using to secure devices and laptops and mobile phones. So these are the things we discuss for the next 1.5 hour sessions. Let's move into the next one. So according to the order, according to the survey in India, according to the survey in India, and as well as the overall report said, the cybersecurity threats is consist of the Britain is another top in cybersecurity around the globe. In India stands in 47 positions in the terms of cybersecurity, and Britain spends around euro 1.9 billion for 5 years on this cybersecurity protection. So please just imagine, folks. Britain spends around European 1.9 billion dollars for 5 years for spending the cybersecurity protection, because that kind of protection is very mandatory and right now in that order, because we have to secure our data very confidentially, because that kind of hackers are available in this IT infrastructures. They are ready to hack your systems very easily and smartly. So that kind of technology also going in this market. Okay. And in the year 2017, the Britain's online health services were brought down by the hackers also. This is a complete the truthful messages from the internet source, and the survey said exactly the clear picture of cybersecurity threat. So why actually I'm looking for this kind of slide? Because cybersecurity is one of the very fast growing technology. Okay, because now the digital transformation and internet, we are using internet since we are using the internet's arrival, the digital transformations initiated, right? So that stage, the cyber security is a very familiar in this market. So we are working in the digital era. We have to protect our systems very smart, and we have to apply some lot of strategies and doing some techniques also. Okay, so that kind of things will be discussed for the next moving to the slides. All right, now moving to the next one, the attacks in India of late. So this is also one of the survey about cyber attacks in India. So in the year 2016 and 17, the July, May, so the both year and both months, they will be attacked in Union Bank of India, and so the data theft at Zomato websites are very famous websites in this market, because due to this lacking of security issues, so the hackers were attacked very easily to stolen the data. So through the phishing emails sent, an employee hackers access the credential to access the fund transfer, and the Union Bank of India, more than $171 million has been theft by the hackers in the year 2016. I'm talking about. On the other hand, we have in the year May 2017. Uh, in the year 2017, that is one of the most important technique we call as a ransomware technique. So using this kind of attacks, there is a lot of dollars has been hacked by the hackers. Okay, so this is the complete scenario. So where we are lacking at right now, and it completely indicates we have to be secured and more our organization. See, we have to secure title more previous stages. Compared to previous stages, we have to improve our stages in this modern one. So that is the reasons why we are looking on the slides. Okay. So moving to next one. So coming to the next, the previous that we discussed in this basic concept, what is cyber security? Cybersecurity is another technique of protecting the internet connected systems, such as computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attack is known as a cybersecurity. I repeat, it is another IT infrastructures, and so these techniques for protecting the internet connected systems, such as computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks is known as a cybersecurity. See, let me tell you one more thing very clearly. Cybersecurity is completely represents we have to provide the security to the infrastructures, the people who are working at right now in this IT field as well as in the business field also. Because attackers can be moved to another, provide the malicious software at anywhere at any time on the organization. Because since we are using in this internet on online, the online service is like an ocean. So the attackers are very smart. The hackers are very smart. So they will be providing a lot of viruses, and they will be providing a lot of malicious software to create and completely hijack your systems, and they will be storing your data also. So that kind of
attacks, how we have to face it, then how we can recover the data, then how we provide the security. Okay, so this kind of all the things we call as cyber security. Okay, so try to understand. So the technique for protecting the internet connected systems such as computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from the malicious attacks is known as cybersecurity. All right, now moving to the next one, types of cybersecurity. I think I hope already you have read about these types of cybersecurity. But since I am just giving the regulating the concept for the next one. So types of cybersecurity is consist of infrastructure security, network security, and we have the information security, and we have a cloud and organization policies and end users behavior. So this kind of security is also provides a more protect, okay, so more tightly secured, and we are using the lot of algorithms also. So, for example, there is always a algorithm, and we have the key-based algorithms, and a lot of things. Right? So that kind of the things are using in this types of cybersecurity. And so before we are talking about the in-depth concept of infrastructures and network thing, I just want to tell about one thing. Yeah, just hold on. So moving to the cybersecurity goals. So the main primary target of cybersecurity goals is completely represents your achieving the following three type of categories. So we have to provide the confidential data, and we have to apply the integrity, and we have to apply the availability also. Because this kind of the type of security goals which help us to make the efficient. So protect the confidential data. It's completely represents. So you have to maintain your data very confidentially. So confidentially is roughly equivalent to the privacy and avoid the unauthorized disclosures of the information. So what I'm trying to say over here, it prevents the essential information from the reaching the wrong people while making sure that the right people can get it. So simply say that is a data encryption is a good example to ensure the confidential data. Okay. So moving to the next one, integrity. So integrity is a completely represents your authentication. So authentication it refers for completely safeguard, right? So this kind of methods for ensuring that the data is real, accurate, and safeguard from the unauthorized user modifications. So it is a complete property that information has not been alerted in unauthorized way. On the other source of the information is it genuine. So that is we call as integrity. So in the integrity we have a set of we have a set of tools for applying this integrity tools. That is we call as backup. We have a checksum, and we have a data correcting course and availability also. So I repeat, so we have a set of tools for applying the integrity. So there is a backup, checksums, data correcting codes, and availability. So this is the complete infrastructure. So I mean, completely steps for using this integrity. So backup is nothing but I hope you know that backup is a periodic archiving of data. It is a process of making copies of data or data files to use the event or the original data or data files or lost destroyed. So whenever you have to take the backup from the database, so you should be following the historical purposes. So such as long-term studies, statisticals, and historical records to meet the requirements of the data is the retention policy. Okay, so that kind of steps we are using in this integrity. And finally we have availability. So availability is a property in which information is accessible and modifiable in a timely fashion by those authorized to do. So it is a complete guarantee of the reliable and constant access to the sensitive data by authorized people. Say example, the tools for availability or physical protections and computer redundancies. So the both tools are using for the availability. I repeat, availability is a property in which information is accessible and modified in timely fashion by those authorized to do so. So it is a completely guarantee of the reliable and constant access to a sensitive data by the authorized people. So the main use of tools for availability are physical protections and computational redundancies. So these are the tools which are working on the availability. in your cybersecurity codes. So remember, so the main three goals which are supporting in the cybersecurity are confidentiality of your data, integrity, and finally we have a availability. So these are the main thing which are using in the cybersecurity concepts. So let's getting with cyber attacks that can be classified in the following categorization. So the main two categories is which is working under the cyber attacks are web-based attacks and system-based attacks. See, basically, the web-based attacks it's completely represents on your injection attacks. So we have a lot of attacks for working in cybersecurity and ethical hacking. But major we have a classified in two types. One is a web-based attacks, then another one is system-based attacks. So web-based attacks, it completely supports so it's a completely injection attacks. The good example for web-based attacks is your injection attacks. The injection attacks in which some data will be injected into a web application to manipulate the application and fetch the required information. I repeat, the web-based attacks is another good example is injection attack. So this kind of attacks, I mean, the attacker people is always using to just attack your web application to manipulate applications and fetch the required information also. Say examples SQL injection code and log injections and XML injections and so on. So these are the good example for web-based attacks. And the one other very famous attack we call as DNS spoofing. So DNS spoofing is a type of computer security hacking, whereby a data is introduced into DNS resource causing the name servers to return an incorrect IP addresses and diverting the traffic to the attackers. Because of this kind of attacks can go for a long period of time without being detected and can cause serious security issues. And we have one more type, and the very famous and familiar attacks in web-based attacks we call as phishing attack. Phishing attack is a type of attack which attempts to steal sensitive information like a user login credential and credit card number. So this kind of attacks always when an attacker is masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communications. So it's a very famous attack, phishing. It's just like they can be created a very fake websites and they will be accepted your credentials through the websites, the fake websites. And we have one more attacks in this web-based attack we called as brute force. Brute force attacks is a type of attacks which uses as a trial and error method. This kind of attacks generate a large number of guesses and validates the obtained to actual data like user passwords and personal identification numbers. And this attacks may be used by the criminals to track the encrypted data or by security analysis to test an organization security. As you can looking on the screen, we have a lot of types of security attacks: phishing attack, denial of service. Okay, so viruses, malware attack, SQL injections. Then we have another very most familiar and most important attack we call as a man in the middle attack. Okay, and password attacks, so brute force attacks, and so on. Okay, so these are completely categorized by so web-based attacks and as well as another good thing we called as system-based attacks. Okay, all right. So let's move into the next one. I just want to explain the attacks we call those types of cyber attacks also. Yes. So this screenshot, this slides is completely indicates on the 4.2 billion records are exposed by the hackers each year. And the survey said the cybercrime cost to business the $8 trillion by 2022 in the year. And we have another RSA algorithm. We are losing the cyber defense battles in the cybersecurity field. And after that, the ransom attacks also rising globally because this attack is one of the very famous attacks was done by the hackers regularly because most probably hackers are using these ransomware attacks is rising globally to hack your systems and to hack your the banking passwords also. And on the other hand, we are using the smart cameras and thermostats joined the Botan Academy also. So this kind of attacks also used in this professionals feel. Okay, let's move into the next one. Before we move into the forward, the next thing, I just want to explain one or more the two things in this types of cybersecurity attacks. Yeah. So we have one more attack we call as dictionary attack. So this dictionary attack is completely represents the attack stored the list of commonly used passwords and validate them to get original passwords. So it's completely focusing on the type of attacks passwords and validate them to get the original passwords. And we have one more the penetrations like a penetration alike is a URL interpretation. So URL interpretations is a type of attack where we can change the certain parts of URL and one can make a web server to deliver the web service for which is not an authorized browsers also. And we have one more the most important thing before I said we call as man in the middle attack. The man in the middle attack is a very powerful and very familiar attacks in the cybersecurity. It represents completely. It allows an attackers to intercept the connection between the client and server. So this kind of attacks always making a bridge between the victim and as well as the servers, the web service also. So due to this, an attackers will able to read, insert, or modify the data in the intercept connections. We call this man in the middle attack. And probably I want to be I want to be short about and discuss on system-based attacks. So system-based attacks, so these are the attacks which are intended to compromise the computer or computer network. Because some of the important system-based attacks as follows. Before you have looked on the screen is another thing we call as virus. Yes, virus. It is a type of malicious software program that spread throughout the computer file without the knowledge of the users. Say examples, for example, the hackers will be provide some malicious program. Okay, they will be sending some kind of messages or any kind of emails, some unwanted fake emails to passing your devices. So once you just log in on the device or once you just show and open in the SMS or any email, so the machines will be automatically will be taken control to the hackers. Okay, so that's kind of the malicious software program that spread throughout the computer files without knowledge of users. We call as viruses. And following one more, the attacks we called as worm attack. So it is a type of malware whose primary functions to replicate itself to spread the the uninfected computers. So this kind of worm work the same as a computer virus. But the main differences between the worm and virus, worm often originate from the email attachments that appear to be from trusted senders. Okay, and one of the most and very basic attack they call as Trojan horse. So this kind of attacks is a completely malicious program that occurs unexpected changes to the computer setting and unusual activity. So even when the computer should be idle, it misleads the user of his true intent, which means it appears to be normal application, but when open executed, some malicious code will run in the background. So that kind of situation, I mean that kind of process we call as Trojan horse. And moving to one thing, so backdoors. So backdoor, it is also another attack which is working under the system-based attacks. So backdoors, it is a method that bypasses a normal authentication process. A developer may create a backdoor so that applications or operating system can be accessed for troubleshooting. See, it's completely making the systems can be accessed for troubleshooting problems. It's works based on completely operating systems. The developer may create a backdoor of the applications. So that kind of the thing we call as backdoors attack. And finally, we have one more attack we call as bots. See, bot it represents a short form robot. It is an automatic process that interact with other network services. Some bot program run automatically, while others only execute the commands when they receive a specific input. And we have the common examples of the bot program or the chat room bots and malicious bot. Okay, it's a completely automation program that was developed by the attackers. So that is we call as bots. Okay. So moving to next slides. So before we have describe about this, so this is the complete the basic service which are working at right now in this cybersecurity professional field. So smart cameras and thermostats joins this botnet only. So 88% of companies concerns about the cyber attacks because nowadays the cyber security. Okay, the cyber security is another vital role which are working in this IT professional because that kind of victims, I mean, that kind of attackers are working smartly to be storing your data in your organization. Okay, so another interesting slide which you can looking on the screen because cyber safety tips protect yourself against the cyber attack. So how we have to protect our data from the hackers. Okay, so the top 10 tips to protect from the online hacking. The first one, so don't open a file from unknown sender. So because it is another very primary thing which are focusing by the people in the market. Because so this is a very another most part which are using by the attackers in this recent rates. The attackers can be send the data or send the email or the short message services or any WhatsApp messages to access the users through the path of channel because it is another a good way and it is a complete path for accessing your system or user devices. So please do not open a file from unknown sender. This is happening in this right now. I hope because some of the people or folks have been receiving a lot of files from unknown senders. Say examples, you can get an offer from anywhere. You have been received the 1 lakh rupees from this kind of tokens or from this kind of some organization, right? So that is completely fake messages. So please better avoid the kind of messages from the unknown sender. That is a completely advisable. And the second tip it represents don't use same password everywhere. So I'm strongly recommending this kind of thing because the second step is a another very pretty good, so you should not be using the same password in everywhere. So please keep repeatedly changing your password and set your password with alphanumeric and as well as um, with set of kind of formats also. Okay, you should be using your alphanumeric values and as well as special symbols of password because that kind of passwords will not be hacked by the hackers very easily because that kind of credential is a very powerful as like a normal credential. So it is very tough and very hard to break the passwords if you are using the alphanumeric and as well as special symbols on your passwords. That is the second step. So the third point, it completely indicates don't keep a copy of plain text logging because this kind of logging will be helpful for attacking by the attackers very easily. And moving to the fourth steps is represents try not log into your accounts on the public network. This is another very important part because people are using most probably the people are using in this open Wi-Fi. It's a free Wi-Fi in this public network. For example, in Coimbatore we have the race course. The race course area they will providing the public networks. So that kind of open Wi-Fi and open network will be very harmful. So the people or the attackers can be used your account and they will be hacking very easily with the help of that open public network. Okay, because public network is not an advisable for using the users or the people. So please better avoid the public networks in the common places. Then moving to the next one, some multi-factor authentication is a very good thing because it's what I mean trying to work here. The multi-factor authentication which helps us to secure your device and secure data for the triple steps. For example, I'm just saying your WhatsApp login. So in our WhatsApp application, we have a multi-factor authentication. So you have to secure your application by using the multiple authentication progress. Like you can be set your PIN and as well as you can be set your finger patterns also. At the same time, you can be set your code also. So the three steps of security and three way of tightening the security will help us to to save your devices and save your data from unauthorized persons. And moving to next one, social media. So social media is one of the very good thing in the recent trends. But at the same time, the social media is another harmful in these websites, because social media is a completely helpful for the people to share your resources and to share your data. At the same time, it can be create a good relationship with unknown persons. Okay, because usually um, the strangers or strangers are harmful, but I'm not talking about all the strangers, but usually unknown persons, we don't have any that kind of information about them, right? So because if you're trying to make the good relationship with stranger, some of the strangers will be using you, which are like you are using devices, and they will be hacking very easily your devices and share your data. Okay, they will be storing your confidential things. So that kind of the thing will happen in the social media platform. So better avoid and stay away from the social media. So that is another good thing on the tips of to protect from online hacking. And moving to seventh one, it completely focusing on don't give your personal information on phone or email to anyone. So it's a very famous and very familiar concept. It's a very basic thing also. So whenever you have to using your cell phones, because cell phones is just like your family person, right? So you have to be using and you have to be save all the personal data on your mobile phones. So because nowadays people do not save the data on any manually or any kind of papers or any other kind of hard copies. So people are using to save the data on the cell phones or any personal devices, right? So if you try to give the device to unknown person or any strangers or some bad strangers, I'm talking about some bad strangers, they will be hacking your devices and they will be storing your data without your knowledge. So please better avoid uh, to not give your personal information on phone or email to unknown persons. And moving to next one, the eighth step. The step 8 of tips to protect from online hacking is don't visit fishy websites, because people always lagging on this kind of stages. So whenever people working on or doing any kind of research on the websites, or some people doing some official thing, some people are working on some personal things on the websites will provide a lot of unknown links also. Okay, for example, if you are using on Google, so the Google provides a lot of advertisement. So once you log in the advertisement, that advertisement has contained a lot of unknown links. It's a completely chain blocking. So in that stage, you must be avoid the complete phishing websites, because the fishy websites that might be created by the hackers. It is uh, just like a tuning to just like a trap your confidential things. Okay, so please better avoid the fishy websites on online also. And moving to ninth step, we have to change the credit card. Credit cards is one of the good thing, but we have to save it very carefully, and at the same time we have to change the password uh, continuously and constantly for the every 2 months or 3 months once. And final, the last but not least, which you can looking on the screen, is we call this update. Yes. So please keep updating on your systems and devices at any time, at anywhere when you feel. Because whenever you have to update your passwords and update your mobile phones and as well as update your systems, the hackers will be completely confusing to hack your data to use your devices, because updations will have been secured more on your devices and as well as systems, because recently we have a lot of security softwares also. So using security softwares and using a lot of applications that might be helpful for avoiding the attacker sites. Okay, so so far so good, I think so. So this is another good 10 tips to protect from online hacking and prevention from hackers. So let's getting jumping into the very basic concept of what is hacking. Okay, so as of now, I just said about what is cybersecurity and what are the types of cybersecurity, and we have seen how to protect our data and devices from the hackers. But now this screen, it completely indicates what is hacking and what type of hackings that will be using by the hackers in this market. So this kind of concepts will be repeated for the next few to 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, fine. So moving to the what is hacking. So hacking is a person who wants to use your confidential data as well as who wants to use your device from unknownly. Okay, it's a to make accessing the systems as an unintended way we call as hacking. So it can be good or bad. We can be categorized into two type of thing. We have a ethical hacking and as well as some unwanted hacking also. See, ethical hacking is completely represents to hack the hackers by using ethical hacking. Okay, usually hacking is a bad kind of hack perspective, but if you are doing the good things by using the hacking concept, we call it as ethical hacking. So bad hacking exploits the holes to access the data. At the same time, the cost of business, governments, and users billions of dollars are working for this hacking purpose. Because in every organization in this market and as well as in all over the world, every organization has been implemented the hacking cybersecurity cell also. Okay, because they want to make to protect the data from unauthorized users. Moving to next one, the good hacking help business protect the users, and it lets companies close gaps and prevent the breaches also. Now, moving to next one, the types of hackers is a very interesting part. Types of hackers, which just consists of a lot of types. So each and every type of hackers has consists of own intention. Okay, so first let's getting started with first black hat is a very common and very famous person. So this kind of attackers and hackers persons always producing the malicious hackers. So malicious hackers, it represents to create a malicious program, some viruses to provide malicious softwares to the user side, to the victim to access the devices, and maybe they will be crash your systems also. Okay, but this kind of hackers doesn't have that much of powerful strategy. Okay, it is a another 30 to 40 percentage of hacking your systems. On the other hand, moving to the next one, white hat hackers. White hat hackers is a completely ethical hacker. So this kind of hackers persons always helping you to protect your data and as well as to identify the person, to identify the opposite attacker who was attacked your systems. So this person is a very good person. So most probably we are using in our government peoples also white hat hacker. So this hacker just completely represents your good hacking person. So this kind of persons always protecting from the hackers to you. The third point, it completely represents gray hat. So gray hat, it's focusing on not malicious, but at the same time, but not always ethical also. So this is an intermediate person. So this kind of gray hat person mm, works based for both kind of strategy. So he or she is a middle person. It supports both kind of things. He is not a malicious, but at the same time, but not always ethical also. So this kind of persons will do some little bit some small bad things to stolen your data, and they will be providing some unwanted links to you. So this kind of hackers we call as gray hat hackers. So moving to next one, green hat. So green hat hackers persons are completely is a new unskilled hacker. So it's a completely the learning skill of hacking concept. It's just like a grown up hacking stages. And on the other hand, we have a blue hat. So now moving to the very important thing, as we are discussing the types of hackers, the final two stage, the type of hackers is a very harmful persons. Blue hat and as well as red hat. Blue hat persons always very vengeful attack because this type of attackers always focusing on your data and always focusing on doing some kind of theft. Even if you are doing some transactions from one part of to another part, this kind of persons keep monitoring your systems and they will be looking for loopholes to hack your systems and devices. So these are completely vengeful hackers. We call as blue hat hackers. So finally, the very harmful in the IT profession, the type of hackers we call as red hat. So this kind of hackers is a very vigilant hacker. They will do anything for any kind of source. So he's a very harmful in the world because we can't predict anything. He may be crash your satellite also. Even they will be this kind of persons will be hacking the satellite. They will be stolen anything, and even they will be do anything also for terrorism also. Okay, so Red Hat is another very harmful hack that occurs in this vigilant hacking side. All right. Now moving to the next one. So basically, the basic question rises in your mind: the differences between the cybersecurity and hacking. So people are always getting confusion the differences between cybersecurity and hacking, whether the cybersecurity and hacking is a same thing or not. Okay, so let me tell you very clearly. So, what are the main differences between cybersecurity and hacking? Cybersecurity is a combination of different skills and tools which combines together to provide the best security environment to the user. As I said before very clearly, cybersecurity is completely provide the security to your organization and as well as your business or IT infrastructure. So this kind of persons, this kind of team always enhancing the security to avoid the malicious software or avoid the viruses from the attacker sites. Okay. On the other hand, ethical hacking is a part of cybersecurity, which mainly deals with finding the vulnerabilities in a system and solving them before any malicious or black hat hackers exploit them. So try to understand the differences between ethical hacking and as well as cybersecurity. Ethical hacking is about our cybersecurity, which mainly deals with finding the vulnerabilities in a system. Okay. Vulnerability is a completely represents weakness because as we discussed a lot of models and real-time platform tools also in previous session. So I hope this word is a very familiar word to you everyone. Okay, so hackers ethical hacking is about of cybersecurity, which mainly deals with finding the vulnerabilities in the system and solving them before any malicious or black hat hackers exploit them. Now let's getting jumping into the exact differences between cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Cybersecurity deals with protecting data and the systems from malicious activities by recognizing and resolving all security issues. On the other hand, ethical hacking, the purpose of ethical hacking is to find the vulnerabilities in the system and report it to the owner. Okay, so please folks try to understand the difference between cybersecurity and ethical hacking. The focus is on how to protect the system. That is a simple concept of cybersecurity. Moving to the next one, ethical hacking. The focus is on how to attack the system, is called as ethical hacking. Cybersecurity is a broad term that includes various security techniques, whereas ethical hacking is a part of cybersecurity. And it offers professions like security analysis, SOC engineers, Cisco, and so on. Penetration testers and security manager are the major ethical hacking tools. When talking about cybersecurity is on the defensive side, on the ethical hacking is represents on offensive side, and it is a responsible for developing the access privilege for system on, and it is a response for making the reports on how the hack was performed. So these are the main differences between cybersecurity and ethical hacking. So try to understand the differences between cybersecurity and ethical hacking. It might be helpful for enhancing your knowledge also. All right, now let's continue our journey in the cybersecurity principle. It is another important major part in the cybersecurity. So how we have to prevent the data and how we have to prevent the systems from the attackers. So we have a lot of principles are using in the cybersecurity infrastructure. So let me explain one by one what actually the cybersecurity principles are includes in this each and every stage and how does it works. So first, let's getting started with economy of mechanisms. So this principle states that security mechanism should be very simple and small as possible because if the design and implementation are simple, for few possibilities exist for the end. Okay, and so this kind of interfaces between security models or success area, which should be as simple as very possible on the economic mechanisms. So moving to the next one, fail-safe defaults. So fail-safe default principle states that a default configuration of your system, it should have a conservation protection scheme. So conservation protection scheme, it represents uh, it should not be grant access to the object. For example, if we will add a new user to an operating system, the default group of the user should have a fewer access rights to file and services. So that kind of principle we call as fail safety force. Okay, I repeat, if we will add a new user to an operating system, in the default group of the user should have a few access rights to the file and services. That is we call as fail safety force. And we have a complete mediation. So complete mediation, it's very closely interact with the principle of security. Okay, because this kind of the thing we called as some cryptographic systems, like you have some DVD player and content scrambling system protection. Okay, so that kind of the thing we called as complete mediations principle. And moving to next one, so open design. So open design, it suggests this complexity does not add any kind of security. So this principle is opposite approach of known as a security through obscurity. Okay, and we have a separation privilege. So separation of privilege, the principle states that a system should not grant access permission based on more than one condition being satisfied. Let me tell you very clearly, the separation of privilege, this kind of principle, that system should not grant access permission based on one or more than conditions being satisfied. So this principle may also be restrictive because the limit access to the system is entities. So example, to change a root, two conditions must be meted. The user must know the root password. Okay, so setting the root password very strongly and very confidentially, that is we call the separation of privilege. And moving to next one, so least common mechanisms. So least common mechanisms, it completely represents the principle may also be restrictive because the limit of sharing of the resource is one of the criteria in the least common mechanism. If there is a need to be access a file or application by more than one user, then this user should be separated channel to access this resource. So that kind of strategy we call as least common mechanism. So you have to channelize your sharing the resource from one system to another system. Okay, and we have a psychological acceptability. So psychological acceptability is another a good and familiar security principles in this cyber security infrastructure. When we enter the wrong password, the system should only tell us the user ID or the password was incorrect. So this kind of the strategy and the code and the security was built by the developers in the cyber security field. Okay, it should not tell us the only password was wrong as it gives the attackers information. And moving to next one, work factor. So work factor is completely representing the cipher algorithms, cipher techniques in this cryptography. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, the principle states that the cost of security mechanisms, which should be compared with the resource of potential attackers. When designing the security scheme, we call this work factor. And finally, we have a compromise recording is another pretty good, So this kind of the compromise recording principle states that sometimes it is a more desirable to record the detail of intrusion than to adapt to I mean the sophisticated measure to prevent it. Which means the server is an office network may be keep log of all access to the file. At the same time, all emails sent and received and all browsing session on the web. So that's kind of that kind of progress we call this compromise recovery. Okay. So try to understand that these are the following principles which are working in the IT infrastructures, the cyber security of principles. Okay. So moving to the next one, the very famous, the top open source cybersecurity tool. As you can looking on the screen, we call this Kali Linux is another the great operating systems in this Linux platform. Most probably the people we are using in this Kali Linux at right now, even students and as well as developer and the trainee who are want to learn the ethical hacking sites. So the people are using in this market, we call this kernel Linux. So one of the good example in the open source tool, we call this Metasploit. So Metasploit, which help us to provide a lot of techniques. So you can be create the create some kind of phishing passwords, and you can be identify the Facebook social media passwords credential. So that kind of the complete knowledge is working, and this is the Metasploit application. So another good browser we call as Onion is a very famous browser. So this browser is provide more security, and it always delete the history of your patterns. So this kind of browsers always using the hacker sites because it provides the more security comparatively Chrome and Firefox. And talking about Wireshark, so another good networking platform. So this Wireshark is works based on hypertext transfer protocol. You can be catch the complete messages, and it completely represents packets. So if you want to identify the packets, if you want to check the packets from one source to another source, you can be checking on the Wireshark platform. Okay. On the other hand, we have a Nmap and as well as OpenSSH and as well as OpenVS also. So these are the completely identifying the vulnerability assessing systems in this market. So, okay, moving to cybersecurity challenges. So what are the challenges we are facing in this cybersecurity? So we have a lot of challenges which are facing in the cybersecurity in this market. Okay, so let's getting first one ransomware evaluations because today cybersecurity is one of the main component of all the country overall national security and economic security strategy. In India, there are so many challenges related to cybersecurity with the increase of cyber attacks, and every organization needs a security analysis, uh, you know, who makes sure that the system is secure. Okay, so the reason, the most important, as you can looking on the screen, one is a ransomware evaluation. So this kind of type of malware in which the data on the victim computer is locked, and the payment is demanded before the ransom data is unlocked. So after successful payment only, the complete the complete villages will be written by the attackers. Okay, so ransomware is a ban of cybersecurity data professional, IT, and executives also because this kind of attacks are very powerful attacks and powerful malware. But it's growing day by day in the area of cybercrime. So IT professionals and business leaders need to have a powerful recovery strategy against to need to have a powerful in the organization. Okay, so that kind of the challenges we are facing in this ransomware evaluation. So this kind of attack was happened in the year 2016 and 17 in India also. So moving to next one, blockchain revolution. So blockchain revolution, the technology is the most important invention in computing era. It is the first time in human history that we have genuinely native digital medium for peer-to-peer value exchanges. And this kind of technology, it always enables the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, one of the great moving faster in the trends, right? The Bitcoin. The blockchain is the vast global platform that allow to create a two or more parties to do the transaction or do the business without needing the third party for establishing the trust. So this is also another harmful. The people are facing the challenges in this market. And the third one is the IoT threats. So Internet of Things. It is a system integrated physical devices which can be accessible to the internet. So this platform is a very pretty good, and so people are working in the lot of projects in IoT. So completely sensor based and human interaction systems. So this will, if any attack occurs in this IoT, so the problem recovering the data and identifying the vulnerabilities in this profession is a very really hard. And moving to the next one, one of the great powerful source in this market we call as AI, artificial intelligence expansion, because nowadays all the softwares and applications have been producing by the software peoples by artificial intelligence. Okay, um, so if anything attacks happens in this artificial intelligence, and this kind of machine learning projects. So this kind of challenging also a very serious issue. Okay, so problem solving is very very difficult in this artificial intelligence in cybersecurity profession. And finally, we have a serverless apps vulnerability. So serverless architecture and apps and applications which depends on third-party cloud infrastructure. Or on we call as backend services such as Google Cloud, Amazon Web Service, Lambda, and so on. Okay, these serverless application invites the cyber attackers to spread threats on the system easily because the user access the application locally or official server on the device. So there is the loophole for attackers. Therefore, if the user responsible for the security precaution while using the serverless application will be very very harmful. Okay, so the following the malicious vulnerability we call as facing the cybersecurity challenge in this market: ransomware evaluation, blockchain evaluation, IoT threats, artificial intelligence expansion, and serverless application vulnerabilities. So moving to the next one, so certification in this market. So if you want to become a good expert hacker, so first you must be doing the certification because then only you will be a smart in this profession. You will be a uh, good professional in this market. So as you can looking on the screen, the different kind of certification partners are providing in this IT infrastructure. So first one is CISSP. It represents Certified Information System Security Professional. On the other hand, we call it CISA, the Certified Information System Auditor. So this kind of certifications will be better comparatively the different thing because it has contained a lot of models. They will be examined completely real-time knowledges also. And we have a list of parts, the Certified Information Security Manager, and we have a incident handler also. And the finally, is a very famous in India. We call it as Certified Ethical Hacker, CEH. A CEH Council is one of the very familiar certifications in India. Okay, so most probably people are using for CEH, will go for CEH because it's a very better and advisable for enhancing their knowledge in this IT infrastructure. Okay, so there is only one video is waiting for you for completing this session on cybersecurity and hackers. So that short video will enhancing the basic knowledge on cybersecurity and hacking. So please be patient for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll go for the next thing. Okay, 11:52. Uh, send go to email. Yes, team. I have given a good exposure on cybersecurity and as well as hacking. I hope you got some exposure about this session. Okay, so now participants are requested. You may leave your lunch at right now. So the next session will be resume shortly after complete your lunch. Okay, so if you have any clarifications, you can be send on your chat. Okay, so thank you. Have a great day and great time at right now.